always feeling happy, just trying to understand the fact that there are many of you out there who want to gist with us, who want to converse with us, who will discuss with us and listen to the things we will say. But me, I'm in my element today because I have a friend of mine in the studio. Now, I met this friend just only a few days, maybe. And he's the kind of person that in his 1.5 years in Nigeria, he already knows more about Nigeria than I do. His history, his sense of history is so beautiful. But the thing is, he's a man who is here to work and work hard. And I'm saying this is the kind of person that many of us would like to emulate, to study, and to learn from. He is the Consulate General of the United States Embassy in Nigeria, and he is versed about Nigerian affairs, African affairs, to say the least. But I would like him first to call his name the way he normally would call it. Sir, can you call your name for me?
Sure. Good afternoon to you and to everybody that's listening today. My name is Jeff Hawkins.
You say Jeff. That's why I say call him.
I say Jeff, and I'm the U.S. Consul General here in Lagos.
Okay, so and Jeff is for Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Spelled Jeffrey.
That's it.
Okay. You know, I'm used to the English version, which is Geoffrey.
I'm American.
I got that. So, welcome to Nigeria and welcome to the studios of Inspiration Radio. Now, Jeff, you've been in Nigeria just 1.5 years, you said so.
Right.
Can you just tell me a little bit more about your functions and the things you've come to do?
Sure. The United States has a really strong presence in Nigeria, and unlike just about every other country on the continent, we have an embassy in Abuja, in the capital, but we also have a consulate here. And it's only in the countries that are the most important for us that we have satellite offices like consulates. And so I am the person that runs that satellite office, and we do all sorts of things in Lagos. Visas are probably one thing that many Nigerians are familiar with, but lots more than that. We, promote U.S. business. We have U.S. law enforcement based in the consulate. We have a variety of activities that help promote relationships between Nigerians and Americans and between Nigeria and the United States.
Okay. Now, when you look at the way Nigeria and Nigerians have been relating with the U.S. and the Americans, oftentimes, to your chagrin maybe, there's an avalanche. There's always a demand for Nigerians wanting to go to the United States.
Not to my chagrin, to my great joy.
Okay. I shouldn't put words in your mouth. But sometimes we get a fear that there's too much. There are too many Nigerians wanting to go to the U.S. or to the UK and things like that. How do you cope with this, with such heavy demand?
Well, first of all, I want to say that we're pleased with the demand. And again, one of the basic functions that I have here is to promote relationships between the two countries. And there's no better way to do that than to bring Nigerians to the United States and to bring Americans here to the extent we can. And so my job is not to prevent the travel of Nigerians to the United States, within the bounds of U.S. law and regulation.
Yeah, and I think that's where the problem is, within the bounds of U.S. laws and regulations.
Right.
Sometimes what we find here is that not many Nigerians know about these laws, but they just want to leave even straight from the rural areas, straight to the urban centers. So there's a culture shock.
Yeah.
And we're not doing much to educate them. So I wonder how, you cope with them over there.
Well, I mean, there are about, and the figures are a little hazy, but there's about 1.5 million Nigerians living in the United States.
1.5 million, that's a number.
Is a number I've heard, which is great. And it turns out that Nigerians are among the most successful immigrant groups in America, which I'm really proud of. And so again, our consulate has had a role over the years in getting those folks to Nigeria. But much more importantly, I think on the day-to-day basis, is our role is to get visitors there. And there are some basic requirements. And for many visitors visa, the most basic requirement is that the people convince the interviewing officer that they're not going to stay when they go to the U.S. So that's where the triage comes in.
Okay. All right. Let's leave that alone. And let's look at the other bilateral relations between Nigeria and America.
Yeah.
How's that going, business-wise?
It's going great. There's about $5 billion of U.S. investment in Nigeria.
That's too small, isn't it?
It's pretty big. And the thing that pleases me is that although the oil and gas sector is an important part of that, it's not the only part of that. And you've seen a lot of great U.S. corporations like GE or Procter & Gamble make significant multi-million dollar investments in Nigeria. So that's good. A lot of people-to-people stuff going on. There are more Nigerians studying in U.S. universities than from any other country in Africa.
Wow.
And again, the consulate has a little part to play in that, and we have student advising for Nigerians that are interested in studying in the United States. We have robust engagement with Nigeria on a whole host of issues, from corruption in law enforcement to media. We're working on promoting stability in the Niger Delta. And we have a really good bilateral relationship. We have a mechanism called the Binational Commission, which is, again, very unusual on the continent. Only one or two countries have them, and Nigeria is one of those countries. And we just had a meeting last week of that commission in Abuja.
Now, there are certain situations where political growth in Nigeria is actually fashioned after the United States type of political arrangement.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're also trying to look at the British one, where we started from.
Mm-hmm.
The presidential system is American, but the British is prime ministerial, and I think head of state as the Queen, and all of that. Where do we not quite do the things you expect us to do in this kind of arrangement?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Nigeria has a presidential system. My country has a presidential system. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty comfortable with that. I have been sort of encouraged in many respects by the degree of independence that the National Assembly often shows. That's a good thing when the different branches of government are balancing each other out, and you certainly see a lot of that in Nigeria. So, obviously there's work to do, and things can be better in Nigeria. They can be better in the U.S., but I think there's clearly a functioning democratic system here.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with our democratic approach?
There's, like I say, there's work to be done, but we're certainly willing to help out as we can.
Okay. All right, I'm going to take it easy a bit now and ask you, what's your social life like? And what kind of music would you like? I'm easing it out a bit. I'm going to come back, don't worry. What kind of music would you like at this stage? Because I want to take a short break.
Well, I did make a special request for Sweet Mother, for my own sweet mother, who has been to Nigeria and who loved it and who is coming back.
Beautiful. Now, where's your mother based? Because I'm going to play this record, and I'm hoping if she's listening, www.inspirationradiong.com. If you want to get us streaming online, you can hear us live. So we'll give you Sweet Mother. Where's she from?
She's from California.
California. And Sweet Mother, here we come. And that will be Prince Nico Mbaga. Now, this is Inspiration Radio, and we are dealing with my friend. I say my friend all the time because I made a new friend out of him today. And we are discussing Nigeria-American relationship. And beyond that, we're also going to look at other aspects of the laws, the behavior, the cultures of the different countries and how we are coping. We're looking at Africa, we look at Nigeria specifically, and we look at the United States of America. This is the Black History Month, and February is winding off gradually. Black History Month, Jeff, how do you want to really look at it before we go to the deeper end of the market?
Well, I mean, it's such a wonderful celebration, really, of a hugely important part of my culture, of my country, and it's one that happily sort of marries your continent, your country, and mine, because those relationships are there and strong. And in some ways, that relationship began in difficulty, and there were problems and challenges and injustices. And I think in some ways, Black History Month is a celebration of the way in which America can renew itself. And that's something I'm really proud of.
I think that's very remarkable, actually, because even Nigeria needs to learn from that.
Yeah. I was posted in Angola when President Obama was elected for the first time. And it was such an amazing moment. And there was such recognition from everyone on the continent that this was a remarkable country that could go from a history of slavery and racism, institutionalized racism, sort of in the same way that South Africa got there too, I guess, and put that behind us. And I mean, it's just, when you think about it, my father grew up in the South, in the United States, and he grew up in a state where there was segregation, where blacks and whites weren't allowed to go to the same school or eat in the same restaurants.
Did he share his experiences with you?
He has. And then to think that today, the president, the man I work for, is an African-American is really a remarkable thing. Yeah.
Well, that process of healing has been very good, I should say. Now, if we look at what's happening in other parts of the world, especially Nigeria, again, I'm going to ask you, looking into Nigeria from outside, at least before you came, what was the kind of image, what kind of news or perception did you have about the country?
Well, I'll be frank, there are two very disparate narratives, I think, outside of Nigeria about Nigeria. And one of them is one that I think a lot of Nigerians will regrettably, understand and accept as current, and that's, sort of corruption and 419 and all that. But that narrative is an old narrative. I mean, still true in some respects, but I think is being very much counterbalanced by a really positive narrative about what's happening on the continent, about what's happening in this country, about the business opportunities that are there for American businesses, about the cultural and incredible natural beauty of this country. And again, I mean, just on a personal level, even having my mother come visit, I wouldn't have had her come if I didn't think this was a great...
Share that with us. What did she... when she wanted to come over, did she have any butterflies in her tummy?
She obviously had butterflies.
Did you invite her, or she offered to come?
I invited her, and we wanted her to come see. And I, to be honest, I think I offered her a really remarkable experience when she came. She, we introduced her to Nobel laureates. We saw Willy Shonka. And then we did a trip in the Southwest, and unfortunately we couldn't do all of Nigeria, so that was the one part that we did, but we went and visited the Oni of Ife, and went to Oshogbo and saw the Sacred Grove, and really got a sense for this place outside of Lagos.
Just watching your face and seeing how, I'm sorry, I don't want to use that phrase, but seeing just the emotions coming out of your face, I can feel what you must have felt.
Oh, it was great. I was very proud to show her those things, and very proud of this country, the country that I work in my adopted home. For the next couple of years, at least, I'm a Lagosian, so I wanted her to see that.
Now, if I ask you, that first time you came in, did you have any kind of fears?
Yeah.
How did you stabilize?
I mean, and obviously the security thing was important, and as I was arriving, Boko Haram had very much come into the international consciousness, and there are certainly security issues not just with terrorism, but crime and all the rest. And those are things that Nigerians face every day, but for us are a little unusual. So
do you want to share with us how America and Nigeria are probably addressing that kind of security assistance? Do you want to share that with us?
Absolutely. First of all, focusing specifically on Boko Haram, I mean, we consider that to be a very serious threat. We are very, very interested in supporting the Nigerian government in countering that threat. There's a great deal of security assistance between the two countries, whether it's with the militaries or the security services, law enforcement. We work that part of the relationship very closely. But then there's also there are wider elements to that, and it's sort of addressing some of the wider issues that create a lot of the unhappiness, particularly in the north, but in other places in the country as well. And our assistance to Nigeria runs something around $650 million a year, which is huge. I mean, that kind of commitment is even for a country with this big a government and as big an aid program as ours, that's a very significant commitment for us. And it's because we're interested in not only getting at the law enforcement thing, but also in helping Nigeria grapple with some of the social issues. And that's sort of the wider objective of this whole thing.
Okay. I will remove my glasses and ask this next question. Social issues, cultural issues, legal issues, all of them. The one thing that dropped from nowhere recently is the issue of same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
I'm asking myself, where did that come from? I'm supposed to be fairly old enough to understand that there has never been an issue. Why does America not, bat an eyelid about same-sex marriage?
Right. Well, I think that one thing that I hope Nigerian listeners understand is that same-sex marriage is still an issue very much under consideration in the United States. And there is not complete consensus on that issue. And there are about 17 states in the United States that recognize same-sex marriage.
Out of 54, there are.
Out of 50. So
okay, 50, okay.
What's that? 33 that don't. I think my sense is that public opinion is moving increasingly towards accepting that, generally speaking, not just in those 17 states, but everywhere in the country. But that's very much a work in progress in the United States.
Yeah.
And I think there has been a tremendous amount of coverage of our interest in this issue, our concern about some things that are happening in Nigeria. And I think that Nigerians have misinterpreted that and thinking that somehow we're taking a stand on same-sex marriage or telling Nigerians that they have to think a certain way or feel a certain way about that issue, and we're not.
Okay.
And our concerns focus specifically on some really troubling elements of the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act. I've actually brought a copy of the act with me.
Okay. You want to read parts
if you'll
of it?
indulge me.
Sure.
Because one of the things that I have found over and over and over again is, by and large, Nigerians don't support same-sex marriage.
Because they think it's not a usual thing.
That's right. They hear the title of the act and they think, oh yeah, that's something that I believe in. I don't think that marriage should be between a man and a man or a woman and a woman. It should only be between a man and a woman. But they're not familiar with the details. So if you'll indulge me,
yes, please.
You probably don't have too many people come on your show and read laws.
No, I'll grant you all the chances in the world.
There are two clauses in particular that give us trouble, and they limit freedom of expression and they limit freedom of assembly. And those are two basic freedoms that are enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution.
Let's stress that again. Limiting freedom of expression.
And freedom of assembly.
And freedom of assembly.
Yeah, beyond illegalizing same-sex marriage, which is not the issue we're taking, that we have a problem with. So Section 5.2 says, a person who registers, operates, or participates in gay clubs, societies, and organizations commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of 10 years imprisonment. So if you're in an organization that speaks out about same-sex marriage, you go to jail for 10 years under this law. And that seems to me to be counter to the Nigerian constitution, which I read this morning, just to remind myself. And the second clause says, any person that supports the registration, operation, and sustenance of gay clubs, societies, organizations, processions, or meetings in Nigeria commits an offense and is liable to conviction of a term of 10 years imprisonment. Again, if you go to a demonstration, if you espouse views that support same-sex marriage, well, then you're going to go to jail for 10 years.
Well, if the law is against same-sex marriage, then these clauses make sense, don't they?
Right, but all Nigerians have the right to an opinion.
Yeah.
All Nigerians have the right to form organizations that support certain views, even if they're unpopular, and to suggest that someone that's in favor of same-sex marriage should go to jail for 10 years for just having that opinion seems to us to be misplaced.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm going to try not to. But my understanding of it is, if it's against the law, right, supporting it means you're encouraging the negative notion for, instead of being against the law, you are now saying it should be for the act, which is not acceptable in law.
Well,
Does that make sense?
Let me bring this back kind of to where our conversation started.
Okay.
With American, with African American History Month,
yes.
right? So in the 50s, it was illegal for a black man and a black woman, a black man and a white woman, or a white man and a black woman to get married.
Okay.
There were people that spoke out against that.
Okay.
Is that wrong? And in particular, I'm reminded of a guy by the name of Richard Loving, who was white. And in 1958, he married his wife, Margaret, who was black.
Okay.
They were married in D.C., where cross-racial marriages were legal at the time. And they moved to Virginia, and they were arrested. And
because in Virginia, it was not
it
acceptable
was not
at
acceptable.
the time. Yeah.
They were arrested. They were jailed. And then they were banished from the state of Virginia for 25 years because of that marriage. And I ask you, under our law and with our freedom of speech provisions, it would have been legal to criticize that arrest, even at the time. Is that wrong? Even if it's illegal, it doesn't mean that one shouldn't have the right to
criticize it,
express an opinion about it.
Okay, I see your point. Expressing the opinion is the issue that you are against.
Right.
All right. But let's look at it again from another source. This is an act that is not popular in Nigeria. It has never been. Suddenly, from the blues, maybe because it's been done some parts of the world, is now being seen as a right here. And they're saying no, because one, it's not not a very human practice. It's not a popularly human practice.
Right.
And so why should it now be... my interpretation of gay sex, or rather the same-sex marriage, is if man marries a man, that means the end of procreation. Because a man cannot get pregnant. If a woman marries a woman, same thing. A woman cannot get a woman pregnant.
Right.
So the cross-pollination changes. And so humanity begins on the downward trend of extinction.
Right.
That's my thinking of it. And that's what I see many Nigerians thinking of. So this is where, again, the fine-tuning of what you just brought out now may be the issue.
Well, I respect your views on that.
Yeah.
I don't have a public opinion on that.
Okay.
Obviously, I've got a personal opinion, but that's irrelevant in this case.
Yeah, it is.
What, as far as the United States government is concerned, we respect that, and we respect your opinion, which I think reflects that of many Nigerians, a majority probably, maybe even a vast majority. But that doesn't change the fact that even if a view is a minority view, people should have the right, and do have the right under the Nigerian
I think you're
Constitution.
harping on the fundamental human right of the individual
Right.
to express himself.
Right.
Okay.
And
I buy that.
And again, I want to make
And it can be ignored if you don't agree with me. I don't agree with you.
And I want to make it real clear: we don't have a position on same-sex marriage. We're not.
Okay.
We're not trying to force the Nigerian government to recognize same-sex marriage. There are many states in the United States that don't recognize same-sex marriage.
True.
So that's not on the table.
Okay, we'll just change that subject and move into other parts of it. We're going to receive calls, and I'll be surprised if somebody won't ask you, okay, what's your personal position and all of that?
Yeah.
But anyway, if we look at the Nigerian nation moving forward and the way they relate with other parts of the world, there's so many Nigerians everywhere. Mm-hmm. But the one big problem is, and I hate to say it, our image. If you were to be helping us think along the line of how do we repair our image, what would you do?
Well, we started with Same-Sex Marriage Act. I think that's one area where there has been a tremendous amount of press coverage in the United States.
Okay.
And frankly not favorable. And it's in Nigeria's interest to promote itself as what I believe it to be, a liberal, tolerant, multi-ethnic democracy, one in which minority views are respected.
Yes, respected.
Obviously, there are issues of corruption and other issues like that we've mentioned, and I think the degree to which that the government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria can demonstrate seriousness about that will be really helpful.
Okay. I'm going to take another number of yours. You picked one song earlier, Jeremy by Victor Uwaifo. Now, you seem to like Nigerian music. Can you tell me a bit more about that? Why do you seem to like, highlight music of the 60s, 70s, and all of that?
Oh, because it's such great high-energy music, and I've been listening to that for a long time. And I would say, I've had so many great experiences in Nigeria, but one of my favorite has to be going to Fela Kuti Shrine and hearing music there. It's just an amazing venue with amazing music, and it's so much a part of Nigeria.
Okay, what is coming out is actually Jeremy by Victor Uwaifo. Victor Uwaifo, Jeremy. In fact, somebody was, I was trying to tell Jeff earlier at the beginning, just before we started the show, that Jeremy is actually, from my understanding, from where I come from in Benin Kingdom, Jeremy is a story of, it's a folk tale about a wrestler who, well, somebody told was going to wrestle with the spirit if he wasn't careful, that he shouldn't wrestle with this one. He should just move on, that if he wrestled on the earth with this one, he's going to the great beyond, that's to the spirit world. And so you should be careful. Well, anyway, we don't know. Nobody was there. But are you familiar with the music?
Yeah, I am. And actually, it's only in Nigeria, right, could you have such great music and have such a profound story operating behind it, right? I mean, that's great.
Most of our stories, most of our music of yesteryear are often, from folk tales, from historical backgrounds and all of that. All right, this is Inspiration Radio, and this is Sony Irabor Live. The phones are buzzing. Oh, my God. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Hello, Uncle Sonny.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I would like to speak to the gentleman over there.
Yes, your background is noisy, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the U.S. has this, my name is Julius.
Julius, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from the Kolobi side.
Okay.
Yeah, my own question is that the U.S. has this stereotype about Nigeria, and that has made them, like the U.S. President Barack Obama, we love him so much in Nigeria, but he has not been to Nigeria before. He has always avoided coming to Nigeria. And that's the stereotype America has concerning human rights and other issues. You know, but I don't feel that, you know, maintaining such stance is not really good for Nigeria. It's not really good for America, because right now, Nigeria is tilting towards Asian countries for, you know, for investments and opportunities. And also concerning the war against terror, I don't know. Yeah, I know the Nigerian military is doing very well, but we need the help of the U.S. in the area of intelligence gathering, and also in this their drone aircraft. If they can get us one to help us fight terrorism, I don't know. That's just my own opinion.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right, you want to answer that or take another call?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, but let me just say I would love for President Obama to come to Nigeria.
Okay.
There's a lot of countries on the continent, so he's got a lot of ground to cover, but we're, you know, hopeful that at some point we still have, 3 years left in the administration. Hopefully we can get him out here.
He used the word stereotype.
In terms of,
maybe the American mindset about Nigerians, and maybe that's why what's influencing his not coming to Nigeria.
believe me, the U.S. president is well advised, and including by our ambassador here in Nigeria. So I don't think that he's got stereotypes. I think the president recognizes the importance of this country. He met with President Jonathan during the UN General Assembly. You know, there's a relationship there.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think we need to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Oops.
Hello?
Yes. Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah, your guest has spoken very well.
Thank you.
I just like his passion about this country. The choice of his music, tells it all. Concerning this gay thing, what is I've not heard about his views about this gay thing, and why did they shun Nigeria? Why there was a time that we heard he was coming, but all of a sudden he's not even talking.
He's thinking that it was because of the gay issue that he changed his mind.
No.
How can America? How can they help?
How can you help with Boko Haram?
Yes.
Well, I mean, obviously we do a lot with our Nigerian partners on the Boko Haram stuff. We have designated Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization. The United States has offered a $7 million reward for the arrest and capture of Shekau. We've designated 3 individuals from Boko Haram as foreign terrorists. We work closely with Nigerian law enforcement. We support them in various ways in the military. So we're working on that very closely with the Nigerians.
Okay. Well, Nigerians want to see Obama in Nigeria.
Me too.
Okay, I'll take more calls. Hello. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
I'm calling from Ikoyi.
Yes. What's your name?
My name is Adobe.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks for standing your stands about gay marriage. I'm very pleased you held your own. And also, as for the consulate, Jeff, I'm sorry I can't remember your name.
Jeff, yes.
Jeff
In my own opinion, we've come a long way, just like America. There was racism years back, as well as gayism. It wasn't accepted. So you guys should allow us be. If we say we're not accepting it now, maybe years down the line we will. But for now, it is abnormal to us. And it's just like culture. When you go to another country and it's not the same culture, it becomes a culture shock. So for now, it's a culture shock. Maybe with time, we might accept it. That's my own opinion on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and Uncle Sonny.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, yes.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate the comments. And I think it's really important for us to understand that the United States isn't trying to dictate to Nigerians. We're not trying to tell Nigerians what view they should have on homosexuality. We're certainly not interested in engaging with Nigerians on their religious beliefs, and many Nigerians are very passionate about religion, which is something that I respect very much. We are concerned about a single particular law, and the impact that law has. We talked about the human rights issues within that law, and also a concern that maybe that there's an atmosphere that disapproval of homosexuality extends to tacit acceptance of violence towards homosexuals also. And it's very important, I think, that all Nigerians accept that, irrespective of their views on homosexuality, that people have the right to life and to to free speech and all those other things. That's where our concerns are. It's not about trying to change Nigerian views on same-sex marriage or on homosexuality.
If I may put it a bit simply for the Nigerian mind, right to life. If a family member is gay, I wouldn't kill him. Rather, I would try to maybe dissuade him, talk to him about the practice that is not acceptable. But if I can't change his mind, I'll leave him be.
That's right.
I guess that's what the point you're trying to make.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right then. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly, yes.
The issue of this gay matter is becoming a problem to this nation. If I would say, because in Nigeria today, I can't just understand what is going on, what is happening. For us to be discussing this issue, something that is not in our custom, or something that is not tradition to this nation, and we'll be discussing it as an issue, and it's becoming a problem to us. So if I would say...
Oh, gosh, I wish... Anyway, not to worry. Try and call again, please. Hello.
Hello, Uncle Sonny.
Yes, how are you?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I want to talk to the Consulate General on the issue of...
Go on.
Yeah, the problem is he doesn't understand one thing about Nigerian. Hello?
Go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, the thing is, if you are not, because every country has their own individual belief and perception, the way we see things, is not the way the Americans see it. Our belief is, if you are supporting the gay people, that means you are actually doing it. So if you are coming out to support them, that means...
No, he didn't say he supported... No.
No. I'm coming. This is the part of it I'm trying to make that you don't understand.
Okay.
That the Americans, they say, if you say they have freedom to association, that means you are actually doing it, because those people that are actually supporting it, they are doing it, but they cannot come out. They are in the closet. So if you can come out on the radio and say, okay, let gay people have association, they should have right. That means every people assembling there, they are all gays. That is my own point of view. Because in America, you can support something and you actually might not belong to it. But whatever you support here, that means you're actually doing it. And that is what we don't want. Because if you are actually supporting it, then that means you're actually part of it. That is my own belief that the government doesn't want. And the American people should understand that. The American government should understand that.
Okay.
That is what we don't want.
Thank you. Okay. Well,
I try not to make this personal, but I think I'll bring in my own personal views into this a little bit. I'm not gay. I have a family and I have 2 children, a wonderful wife that I'm very much in love with. But I also believe in tolerance.
Tolerance, that's key.
And so I think I'm a living proof that the caller's last point is not.
So his fears are not.
True.
Yes. Okay. Right.
So there it is.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to take another call, and I will give my own judgment. Is it judgment or my views on this? Hello. Missed you. Hello. How are you?
Hello, Uncle Sonny. Good afternoon.
Yeah, you know what to do. Good afternoon.
Please, I want to really ask him what the American government has did concerning the Boko Haram.
Boko Haram. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what's the American government stand on Boko Haram? I think you mentioned something like that earlier. But
again, as I said earlier, obviously Boko Haram is a terrorist organization. The United States government has designated as such. We absolutely deplore and abhor the violence that Boko Haram has committed in this country, and we look forward to working with Nigerian government and people to counter the scourge of terrorism in this country.
Okay. All right. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Yes. Can you reduce the volume, please? Go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but bring down the volume of your radio set. And
I have done that.
Okay, give your name.
Oh, my name is Bose.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Millionaire.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Ouch. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
My name is Timothy. I'm calling from Edikmeta.
Your name is Timothy?
Yes, calling from Edikmeta.
Sounds like a female voice, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, I'm having 2 comments to make. You talked about your visa issues.
Visa, yeah?
Yeah, visiting visa. I am someone who have had experiences, 2 experiences, and I'd like to give him an advice, you understand? I don't want to really narrate the gory details about what your consulars do, but imagine something. You give a letter saying that you applaud or appreciate the person's interest in coming to do something, but because we cannot convince the consular that we will return, you understand, we are denying, and that we cannot appeal. That is denying fundamental human rights that the person cannot appeal. That's in one of your letters. And 2, most of the people you give, are you sure they return? You understand? And your policy is not fully efficient. And I look at it, I want to give you a hypothetical situation. Before, when people fall sick, you quarantine them. But now, people brainstorm to finding a solution. Let's agree that you know somebody has a prospect of not returning. It is your responsibility to work towards ensuring. You call yourself a freedom state, or you believe in liberty, things like that, because it's simulating. You pay visa fee, they don't refund your visa fee, you understand? And you now are denied. They have wasted money and they're going depressed.
I need you to be brief about this whole thing, because now you're going from one to the other, no comma, no full stop. I really need to be brief.
Yeah, my comment is that you are denying human beings, Nigerians precisely, the desire to visit your country in whatever way you call it, to visa restrictions or whatever. That's number 1. Look into it, that people that have been denied, how they can get redress, and the freedom of right to appeal, to prove that. But then 2, and touching the terrorist something, what is the U.S. assisting Nigeria in doing aerial survey? I watched the last video on CBC on Friday where this man was having an armored tank behind him and weapons. We have all these heat-seeking of, I don't know whether it's spatial area photographs and surveillance, whether you can know where an armored tank, I know at least an armored tank cannot move at 50 kilometers per hour or something like that. And these people, Boko Haram, have more sophisticated weapons that we cannot surveil the creeks, or the forest and everything and catch these people. You understand?
Okay.
And
right.
these are the 4 issues I'm telling you. Look into the visa.
Thank you. And then the sophisticated weapons of the Boko Harams, okay? Thank you. Yes.
Okay, on the visa thing, and I'm glad that she's raised that question, because it's important for people to understand, and I'm interested in having that dialogue. A couple of issues. One is there is a tremendous demand for U.S. visas.
True.
Which is a problem for us, because we have limited resources, we have limited number of visa officers and all the rest. One of the things that we have accomplished, and I'm very proud of, is that the waiting time to apply for a visa has dropped hugely.
Okay.
So when I first arrived a year and a half ago, it was a totally unacceptable 4 months, which is just absurd. It's now, today I think it's around 9 days or something like that. So that's been a commitment on the part of the consulate to improve service on visa interviews. As for the result, there's a very limited time for people to speak to an officer, and it's because we have a large number of people applying every day. And in a way, the visa law is a little unusual in that you're sort of, you have to prove that you're eligible for the visa.
Yeah.
So the officer, by U.S. law, has to start with no, and it's the applicant's responsibility to move the needle to yes.
Oh, so okay, you start with no. Is it based on the officer's perception of the situation, or assessment of the situation?
Assessment, but in other words, the law says that everyone is a presumed immigrant and therefore not eligible for a visitor visa.
Oh, I see.
Unless they prove otherwise.
Okay.
So it's not like you come in and you're innocent until proven guilty. It's sort of the other way around.
Yes.
And that's just the way the law is written. That's the U.S. Congress has passed, and that's our visa law, and that's what those officers are dealing with. I mean, that's their requirements. That said, most people that come to the consulate for a visa get one.
Okay.
And
so on an average percentage, you say out of 100, how many get?
The percentages vary, and we don't generally like to talk about that So
No, it's because of the statement you said most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
go ahead.
More people walk out of the consulate with a smiling face than a frowning face every day. Let me just put it that way.
Uh-huh.
But there is, because of the shortness of the interview, because of the requirements of our law, which is no until they get it to yes. People do get refused visas on a fairly regular basis, and they're obviously unhappy about that. She mentioned the application fee, and that's
non-refundable.
That's an application fee. It's not an issuance fee.
Okay.
And so that's the price you pay for having your few minutes.
Is this an attempt to discourage an avalanche of exodus from the country?
Not at all. It's a recognition on the part of U.S. Congress that it's incredibly expensive to do this around the world.
Okay.
And it's just something that we have to do to defray the costs of having literally hundreds and hundreds of visa officers around the world interviewing people who want to come to the United States. But we do want to encourage people to apply. There isn't a court of appeal, and there isn't a right to visit the United States. But people can reapply. So if they're refused and their circumstances change, or they think they didn't make their case as effectively as they could have, they're welcome to reapply. They do have to pay the fee again, but
and sometimes they do get the visa anyway.
Yeah.
Right. What about the Boko Haram?
In Boko Haram, again, we've talked about that in terms of...
what she was saying was that you have all the technology, surveillance, to see the forest, the savannah, and all that, and also determine the sophisticated weapons that they display.
Right.
And that if you're really, my interpretation now, if you're really helping the Nigerian government to sort out all these things, maybe if you apply some of these, your sophisticated weaponry and surveillance items, it may make the job a lot easier to handle.
Well, one thing I should say is let's give credit where credit is due. Nigeria has a fairly sophisticated law enforcement security apparatus, military, all the rest, fairly well funded for the continent. And it's not as if Nigeria is dependent on the United States to provide technology or there are domestic means available for all those things, and we are very interested in helping out where we can. But it's a Nigerian function, and I think Nigeria is generally capable of doing that.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, we have 5 minutes to go. Go straight to the point.
All right, my name is Akota. Please, I want to tell the Consulate General, if at all Obama is going to find himself here anytime soon or in the future, if he's going to come and talk about gay, he shouldn't bother to come. So that's just the message I want him to pass across to him.
Well, I can assure you Obama would not be like that, so don't bother yourself. Hello. Hi. Yes, too much volume. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it has been reduced. You want to expand back from the Millionaire. I want to ask you, Consulate General.
Yes.
In the area of power, we are, for example, in this part of Lagos,
yes.
We have been going on that darkness for
So America will now provide your power.
How can they help us to tackle it? It's a very big issue. How can they help us to tackle power issue?
Okay,
all
right.
In their own place, is there anything like blackouts?
Okay.
In America.
All right, he's going to answer. Yes.
Well, I'm really glad that your caller asked that question because it's something that we're very proud of. The President Obama announced last year an initiative called Power Africa. And it identifies 6 countries on the continent, including Nigeria, where we really, really want to put a big push on power. And we recognize how important this is for Nigeria. Nigeria generates something like 4,000 megawatts of power for a country of 170 million. And
that's small, isn't it?
And
it's a drop in the ocean.
To give you some perspective, I think that's about the same amount of power that Singapore generates.
What?
Yes.
And Singapore's how many people?
City-state, I don't know.
City-state, that's about 1 million, 2 million
3
people.
3 million people, something like that.
Wow.
So a lot of work to be done. I think the Jonathan administration recognizes that. Obviously, the Obama administration does too. We've got about an $8 billion commitment. We're working in all kinds of different areas on that, and a lot of interest in there. Do we have blackouts in the United States? Not very often. And one thing that I've felt really strongly since I've been here is the moments when Nigerians stop talking when the power goes out, we will have made real achievement. It's really striking for an American for the power to go out and have people just continue talking like it's normal.
It's normal as if...
In America, everyone would say, "Oh my God, the power has gone out. What
True.
should we do?"
So more action rather than less, and less talk, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hello. You have 30 seconds.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. 30 seconds.
Okay, my name is Ifeoluwa. I want to make a quick point. I think what Nigerians and where they're making the mistake is, because the gay issue is that America recognizes your individuality and accepts you. That's why most people are going there, whereby they are able to express themselves and move up, which is what he's trying to pass across. That even if there's a law in Nigeria that says that, what about that individuality in that person? If not for that, many people wouldn't want to go to the American and get a better or greener pastures. That's what I want to clarify.
Thank you. That's quite intellectual of you. Last call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, lady. 30 seconds.
All right, sir. I called earlier on, but the line went off.
Yeah.
I just want to talk on the issue of gayism. Okay. I don't think it's something that should be discussed even on air or anywhere around in Nigeria, because it is an abomination.
Okay.
It's against our religion. It's against everything in Nigeria. So it shouldn't even be brought up.
Okay.
The little ones, the teenagers, when they hear things like this, even if they don't know anything about it, they tend to go looking for what it is.
The beauty.
Then from there they get to know what it is, and then they start it up. So it's not even cool at all to even bring it up or talk about it.
Okay.
I respect the U.S. I respect their views. I respect their laws, but issues like this that are abominations in our own land, we should not even bring them up at all.
And my dear,
thank you.
I respect your views. Thank you so much. And finally, this is how we want to round it off. What do you make of this whole talk, Christopher?
Make of the whole?
The show, the way it has unfolded, and people's views, divergent views.
Well, I mean, one thing that is clear is that Nigerians have strong views on these issues.
Okay.
And I think that's good, and also an undercurrent there, and I think you hear a little of it in the last caller's comment, that of religion and the degree to which that impacts people's views, and that's normal and acceptable, and I respect that. And again, sort of as we started out on this issue, maybe a little bit of misunderstanding of the U.S. position on this, and where we're coming from, and again, much more about concerns of safety of all Nigerians, concerns of basic fundamental freedoms that are freedoms for everybody, gay, straight, black, white, whatever, and that's what we're really pushing for here in Nigeria.
Okay. And the record has just started, and it's one of your favorite records, Shakara by Fela. And this is how I say a big thank you for coming to the show. You're such a great guy, because when I anticipated your coming, I said, well, I hope he's going to be ready. I hope he's ready to answer all these questions. And my God, you did a fantastic job.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Any message to Nigerians again?
Long live Nigerian-American friendship.
Okay, and so shall it be. Thank you very much, and bye-bye, you out there. Another day, it's Sunday, and guess what? We're going to have a big time.